Yeah, I can read.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Reborn.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvaya Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantitam वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकलं कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तां च जीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्तांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल।
Reborn.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna Antariksh Prabhu Dandat Pram Jai Shri Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्णा
हरे
प्रभु जय
कृष्ण
शिला
प्रभु
प्रभुपाद दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Okay, today we read about description of autumn. The killing of Pralambasura and the devouring of the devastating forest fire by Krishna and Balaram became household topics in Vrindavan. The cowherd men described these wonderful activities to their wives and to everyone else, and all were struck with wonder. They concluded that Krishna and Balaram were demigods who had kindly come to Vrindavan to become their children. In this way, the rainy season ensued. In India, after scorching heat of the summer, the rainy season is very welcome. The clouds accumulating in the sky, covering the sun and the moon, become very pleasing to the people, and they expect rainfall at every moment. After summer, the advent of the rainy season is considered to be a life-giving source for everyone. The thunder and the occasional lightning are also pleasurable to the people. The symptoms of the rainy season may be compared to the symptoms of the living entities who are covered by the three modes of materialization. The unlimited sky is like the supreme Brahman, and the tiny living entities are like the covered sky or Brahman covered by the three modes of material nature. Originally, everyone is part and parcel of Brahman. The supreme Brahman or the unlimited sky can never be covered by a cloud, but a portion of it can be covered. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they are only in an insignificant portion of the Supreme Lord. This portion is covered by the modes of material nature. What was this? This portion is covered by the modes of material nature, and therefore the living entities are residing within this material world. The Brahma Jyoti, spiritual effulgence, is just like the sunshine. As the sunshine is full of molecular shining particles, so the Brahma Jyoti is full of minute portions of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Out of that unlimited expansion of minute portions of the Supreme Lord, some are covered by the influence of material nature, whereas others are free. Clouds are accumulated water drawn from the land by the sunshine. Continually for 8 months, the sun evaporates all kinds of water from the surface of the globe, and this water is accumulated in the shape of clouds, which are distributed as water when there is need. Similarly, a government exacts various taxes from the citizens, which the citizens are able to pay by their different material activities, agriculture, trade, and industry. Thus, the government can also exact taxes in the form of income tax and sales tax. This is compared to the sun drawing water from the earth. When there is again need of water on the surface of the globe, the same sunshine converts the water into clouds and distributes it all over the globe. Similarly, the taxes collected by the government must be distributed to the people again as educational work, public work, sanitary work, etc. This is very essential for a good government. So I don't think this is going on now. They are buying bigger
Yeah,
atom bombs and
yeah, they keep
faster.
increasing tax every year, but no improvement.
Yes, Prabhu. And inflation, they say. They say now is
Oh
inflation.
yeah.
Let's raise the price of food. We need to raise the uh, income tax, everything. And yeah, there's nothing.
We ask them how does inflation happen? Oh, it happens because we print more money.
Yes, Prabhu.
So
And
they will print the more money themselves, and they will say, "Oh, the prices increased because of inflation,"
yes,
and then
Prabhu.
they would increase the tax.
And what happens? Inflation is 1%, but the prices increase 5%. Then you ask,
Oh
inflation was only so small, but why you increase so much prices? They say, oh, it's inflation. In the name of inflation, they increase prices artificially, and then they say,
yes.
oh, it's because of inflation. This is happening in Finland a lot, and everyone knows it's happening. They know that
Here also the prices are increasing so much
yes, Prabhu.
for
Also,
everything.
all places, electricity and everything. And
Yes, Prabhu.
even though the real, because for us the electricity price that they get the electricity for, it has not risen,
Yes.
but still those who sell the electricity contracts, they ask way more than the market price is, because they say it's inflation and we can do this. And yeah, the government doesn't do anything for this. They say okay, they can ask whatever they want. So the government should not simply exact taxes for useless squandering. The tax collection should be utilized for the public welfare of the state. And what has happened in Europe, mostly everyone has increased their defense budget because they're scared of this war. So much.
Also because of Russia, the prices.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu. So they
Because they stopped buying from Russia, so the prices also increased.
yes, Prabhu. Because we live next to Russia also. So we used to get all the gas and everything. And in 1 year, they stopped buying from there. And now they increased, they bought so many new weapons and everything. And they say, now we got to raise the taxes. So really, people are not getting anything but some incoming war. They're paying taxes to go into war. During the rainy season, there are strong winds blustering all over the country and carrying clouds from one place to another to distribute water. When water is urgently needed after the summer season, the clouds are just like a rich man who in times of need distributes his money even by exhausting his whole treasury. So the clouds exhaust themselves by distributing water all over the surface of the globe. And you know what happens? When they buy those weapons, they make sure that the companies that they buy the weapons from are related to themselves. So really, the government
Yes,
officials
sir.
just make money from the taxes. It's not distributed to anyone. They just steal it by hook and crook.
Yeah. They also, by the time they retire, they'll suddenly have mansions and so much land.
Yes, Prabhu. And this happened also with these vaccines and these. When this COVID was going on, they they used so much money on this. They took so much from the government budget and used on these vaccines and all these what happened during that COVID time. So what happened?
Yeah.
They ended up making their own companies, or they had invested in the companies or on those medical companies, and then they gained money by accepting these.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
we will buy millions of vaccines, and at the same time, the person gains.
Oh.
That's some nonsense.
They also do before passing some law which would benefit a company, they buy share in that company, and
Yes,
then they would pass the law which would benefit them.
yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I see this. Yeah, that's a big problem. Also, in Finland, many doctors are the share owners of big medicine companies like Orion
Pharmaceutical
and these.
companies.
How can a doctor be a share owner of some company? Then he becomes, he becomes the he's like representing the company then if he's the share owner
Yeah.
of that company. So that's not fair.
I mean, he cannot be impartial then. He would be
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. That's
always trying to sell more medicine.
yes, Prabhu. When Maharaj Dasharatha, the father of Lord Ramachandra, used to fight with his enemies, it was said that he approached them just like a farmer uprooting unnecessary plants and trees. And when there was need of giving charity, he used to distribute money exactly as the cloud distributes rain. The distribution of rain by clouds is so sumptuous that it is compared to the distribution of wealth by a great munificent person. The clouds' downpour is so sufficient that the rains even fall on rocks and hills and on the oceans and seas where there is no need for water. It is like a charitable person who opens his treasury for distribution and who does not discriminate whether the charity is needed or not. He gives in charity open-handed. Before the rainfall, the whole surface of the globe becomes almost depleted of all kinds of energies and appears very lean. After the rainfall, the whole surface of the earth becomes green with vegetation and appears to be very healthy and strong. Here a comparison is made with a person undergoing austerities for the fulfillment of material desire. The flourishing condition of the earth after a rainy season is compared to the fulfillment of material desires. Sometimes when a country is subjected by an undesirable government, persons and parties undergo severe penances and austerities to get control of the government, and when they attain control, they flourish by giving themselves generous salaries. Yeah, here Prabhupada also explains it. That is like the flourishing of the earth in the rainy season. Actually, one should undergo severe austerities and penances only to achieve spiritual happiness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that tapasa, is this tapasya? Why is tapasa? Or penance should be accepted for realizing the Supreme Lord. By accepting austerity in devotional service, one regains his spiritual life, and as soon as one regains his spiritual life, he enjoys unlimited spiritual bliss. But if someone undertakes austerities and penances for some material gain, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that the results are temporary and that they are desired by a person of less intelligence. During the rainy season, in the evening, there are many glowworms visible about the tops of the trees, hither and thither, and they glitter just like lights. But the luminaries of the sky, the stars and the moons are not visible. Similarly, in the age of Kali, persons who are atheists or miscreants become very prominently visible, whereas persons who are actually following the Vedic principles for spiritual emancipation are practically obscured. This age, Kali Yuga, is compared to the cloudy season of the living entities. In this age, real knowledge is covered by the influence of material advancement of civilization. The cheap mental speculators, atheists, and manufacturers of so-called religious principles become prominent like the glowworms, whereas persons strictly following the Vedic principles or scriptural injunctions become covered by the clouds of this age. Is this why ISKCON is so big still, and why others who are following properly are not yet? People should learn to take advantage of the actual luminaries of the sky, the sun, moon, and stars, instead of the glowworm's light. Actually, the glowworm cannot give any light in the darkness of night, as clouds sometimes clear, even in the rainy season, and sometimes the moon, stars, and sun become visible, or so, even in this Kali Yuga, there are sometimes advantages. The Vedic movement of Lord Chaitanya's, the distribution of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, is heard in this way. People seriously anxious to find real life should take advantage of this movement instead of looking toward the light of mental speculators and atheists. After the first rainfall, when there is a thundering sound in the clouds, all the frogs begin to croak, like students suddenly engaged in reading their studies. Students are generally supposed to rise early in the morning. They do not usually arise of their own accord, however, but only when there is a bell sounded in the temple or in the cultural institution. By the order of the spiritual master, they immediately rise and after finishing their morning duties, they sit down to study the Vedas or chant Vedic mantras. Everyone is sleeping in the darkness of Kali Yuga, but when there is a great Acharya, by his calling only, everyone takes to the study of the Vedas to acquire actual knowledge. During the rainy season, many small ponds, lakes, and rivulets become filled with water, otherwise, the rest of the year they remain dry. Similarly, materialistic persons are dry, but sometimes when they are in a so-called opulent position with a home or children or a little bank balance, they appear to be flourishing. But immediately afterwards, they become dry again, like the small rivulets and ponds. The poet Vidyapati said that in the society of friends, family, children, wife, there is certainly some pleasure, but that pleasure is compared to a drop of water in the desert. Everyone is hankering after happiness, just as in the desert everyone is hankering after water. If in the desert there is a drop of water, the water is there, of course, but the benefit from that drop of water is very insignificant. In our materialistic way of life, we are hankering after an ocean of happiness, but in the form of society, friends, and mundane love, we are getting no more than a drop of water. Or satisfaction is never achieved, as the small rivulets, lakes, and ponds are never filled with water in the dry season. Due to rainfall, the grass, trees, and vegetation look very green. Sometimes the grass is covered by a certain kind of red insect, and when the green and red combine with umbrella-like mushrooms, the entire scene changes, just like a person who suddenly becomes rich. Hmm. When the green and red combine with umbrella-like mushrooms. This was the interesting part. Sometimes the grass is covered by a certain kind of red insect, and when the green and red combine with umbrella-like mushrooms, the entire scene changes, just like a person who has suddenly become rich. The farmer then becomes very happy to see his field full of grains, but the capitalists, who are always unaware of the activities of supernatural power, become unhappy because they are afraid of competitive price. In some places, certain capitalists in government restrict the farmer from producing too much grains, not knowing the actual fact that all food grains are supplied by the Supreme Person of God. According to the Vedic injunction, Eko Bahunam Jo Vidadati Kaman, the Supreme Person of Godhead maintains this creation. Therefore, he arranges for a supply of whatever is required for all living entities. When there is population increase, it is the business of the Supreme Lord to feed them. But persons who are atheists or miscreants do not like abundant production of food grains, especially if their business might be hampered. During the rainy season, all living entities in the land, sky, and water become very refreshed, exactly like one who engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Oh, Hare Krishna, Jani Prabhu, Dandar Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dharma Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
We have practical experience of this with our students in the International Society for Krishna
Hare
Consciousness.
Krishna Prabhu. Accept my humble obeisances, O
But,
Krishna Prabhupada. Sorry,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
sorry to interrupt you.
no problem,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Dharani Prabhu,
Joining
my
the
humble obeisance, O Krishna Prabhupada.
Be happy to see you here. Ribol.
Dharani Prabhu also came, Prabhu.
Who wants to continue from this part?
I'll continue, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
From where, Prabhu, we have practical experience.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
We have practical experience of this with our students in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Before becoming students, they were dirty looking, although they had naturally beautiful personal features. But due to having no information of Krishna consciousness, they appeared very dirty and wretched. Since they have taken to Krishna consciousness, their health has improved, and by following the rules and regulations, their bodily luster has increased. When they are dressed with saffron colored cloth, with tilaka on their foreheads and beads in their hands and on their necks, they look exactly as if they have come directly from the Vaikuntha. In the rainy season, when the rivers swell and rush to the oceans and the seas, they appear to agitate the ocean. Similarly, if a person who is engaged in the yoga mystic process is not advanced in spiritual life, he can become agitated by sex impulse. High mountains, however, although splashed by tolerance of rains, do not change. So, a person who is advanced in Krishna consciousness, even if put into difficulties, is not embarrassed, because a person who is spiritually advanced accepts any adverse conditions of life as the mercy of the Lord, and thus he is completely eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom. In the rainy season, some of the roads are not frequently used and they become covered with long grasses. This is exactly like a Brahmana who is not accustomed to studying and practicing the reformatory methods of Vedic injunctions. He becomes covered with the long grasses of Maya. In that condition, forgetful of his constitutional nature, he forgets his position of eternal servitorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By being deviated by the seasonal overgrowth of long grasses created by Maya, a person identifies himself with a Mayic production and succumbs to illusion, forgetting his spiritual life. During the rainy season, lightning appears in one group of clouds and then immediately in another group of clouds. This phenomena is compared to a lusty woman who doesn't fix her mind on one man. A cloud is compared to a qualified person because it pours rain and gives sustenance to many people. A man who is qualified gives sustenance to many living creatures, such as family members or many workers in business. Unfortunately, his whole life can be disturbed by a wife who divorces him. When the husband is disturbed, the whole family is ruined. The children are dispersed or the business is closed and everything is affected. It is therefore recommended that a woman desiring to advance in Krishna consciousness peacefully live with a husband and that the couple not separate under any condition. The husband and wife should control sex indulgence and concentrate their minds on Krishna consciousness so their life may be successful. After all, in material world, a man requires a woman and a woman requires a man. When they are combined, they should live peacefully in Krishna consciousness and should not be restless like the lightning flashing from one group of clouds to another. 1 minute, Prabhu.
Reward. Who wants to continue?
I can continue, bro.
Yes, thank you so much.
Can I? Thank you so much, bro. Sometimes, in addition to the roaring thunder of the clouds, there is an appearance of a rainbow, which stands as a bow without a string. Actually, a bow is in the curved position, being what is it, bro? Being tied at its end by the bowstring. But in the rainbow, there is no such string, and yet it rests in the sky so beautifully. Similarly, when the Supreme Personality of God descends to this material world, he appears just like an ordinary human being, but he is not resting on any material condition. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he appears by his eternal potency, which is free from the bond, age of the external potency. What is bondage for the ordinary creature is freedom for the personality of Godhead. In the rainy season, the moonlight is covered by clouds but is visible at intervals. It sometimes appears like that the moon is moving with the moment of the clouds, but actually the moon is still due to the clouds is also appears to move. Similarly, for one who has identified himself with the moving material world, his actual spiritual luster is covered by illusion, and with the moment of material activities, he is thinking. ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು for one who has identified himself with the moving material world, his actual spiritual luster is covered by illusion, and with the moment of material activities, he thinks that he is moving through different spheres of life. This is due to false ego, which is the demarcation between spiritual and material existence. Just as the moving cloud is the demarcation between moonlight and darkness. In the rainy season, when the clouds appear for the first time, after seeing their appearance, the peacocks begin to dance with joy. This can be compared to persons who are very hazard in the materialistic way of life. Sorry, bro. When peacock begin to dance with joy, this can be okay. Appearance clouds appear for first time. Okay. Okay, bro. Other in the materialistic way of life. If they can find the association of a person engaged in the loving devotion service of the Lord, they become enlightened. Just like the peacocks when they dance, we have a practical experience of this because many of our students were dry and morose previous to their coming to Krishna consciousness. But having come into contact with devotees, they are now dancing like Jubilee Kent peacocks. Very good. Plants and creepers grow by drinking water from the ground. Similarly, a person practicing austerities become dry. After the austere performance and completed, and he gets the result, he begins to enjoy life in sense gratification with family, society, love, home, and other paraphernalia. Sometimes it is seen that herons and ducks meander continuously on the banks of the lakes and rivers. Although the banks are filled with muddy garbage and thorny creepers. Similarly, persons who are householders without Krishna consciousness are constantly tarrying in material life in spite of all kinds of inconvenience. In family life or any life, one cannot be perfectly happy without being Krishna consciousness. Srila Narottama Das Thakur prays that he will have the association of a person, neither a householder or a man in the renounced order of life, who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and is always crying the crying the holy name, uh, crying the holy name of the Lord Chaitanya. For the materialistic person, worldly affairs become too aggressive, whereas to a person who is in Krishna consciousness, everything appears to be happy situated. The barriers around the agricultural field sometimes break due to heavy tor- uh, torrents of rain. Similarly, agriculture field, okay. Similarly, the unauthorized atheistic propaganda in the age of Kali breaks the boundary of the Vedic injunctions. Those people gradually degenerate to godlessness. In the rainy season, the clouds tossed by the wind deliver water which is welcomed like nectar. When the Vedic followers, the Brahmanas, inspire rich men like kings and the we- wealthy mercantile community to give charity in the performance of great sacrifices. The distribution of such wealth is also nectarian. The four sections of human society, namely Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, are meant to live peacefully in a cooperative mode. This is possible when they are guided by the expert Vedic Brahmanas who perform sacrifices and distribute wealth equally. Vrindavana forest improved from the grains and was repelled with refined dates, mangoes, blackberries, and other fruits. Lord Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his boy friends and Lord Balarama entered the forest to enjoy the new seasonal atmosphere. The cows being fed by the new grasses become very healthy and their milk bags were all very full. When Lord Krishna called them by name, they immediately came to him out of affection, and in their joyful condition, the milk flowed from their bags. Lord Krishna was very pleased when passing through the Vrindavan forest by the side of Govardhana hill. On the bank of Yamuna, he was all the trees decorated with heavy heaves pouring honey. There were many waterfalls on Vrindavan hill, and their following made a nice sound. Krishna he heard them as he looked into the caves of the hill. When the rainy season was not ended completely, but was gradually turning to autumn. Sometimes, especially when there was rainfall within the forest, Krishna and his companions could sit under a tree or within the caves of Vrindavana hill and enjoy eating the ripened fruits and talking with great pleasure. When Krishna and Balarama were in the forest all day, Mother Yashoda used to send them some rice mixed with curd, uh, fruits, and sweet sweet meat. Sweet meat. Krishna could take them and sit on a slab of stone on the bank of Yamuna. While Krishna and Balarama and their friends were eating, they watched the cows, calves, and bulls. The cows appeared to be tired from standing with their heavy uh, milk bag milk bags by sitting and chewing grasses. They became happy, and Krishna was pleased to see them. He was proud to see the beauty of the forest, which was nothing but the manifestation of his own energy. At such time, at such times, Krishna would appraise nature's special activities during the rainy season. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that the material energy of the nature is not independent in its actions. Nature is acting under the superintendence of Krishna. It is also stated in the Brahma Samhita that material nature, known as Durga, it is acting as the shadow of Krishna. Whatever order is sent from Krishna, material nature obeys. Therefore, the natural beauty created by the rainy season was acted out according to the indications of Krishna. Soon all the water reservoirs became very clean and pleasing, and refreshing air was blowing everywhere because of the appearance of autumn. The sky was completely cleared of all clouds, and it recovered its natural blue color. The blooming lotus flower in the clear water is the forest appeared like a person who has fallen down from yoga practice but again has become beautiful by resuming his spiritual life. Everything becomes naturally beautiful with the appearance of Ottoman season. Similarly, when a materialistic person takes to Krishna consciousness and spiritual life, he, he also becomes as clear as the sky and water in Ottoman. The Ottoman season takes away the rolling of dark clouds in the sky as well as the polluted water. Filthy conditions on the ground also become cleansed. Similarly, the person who takes to Krishna consciousness immediately becomes cleansed of all dirty things within and without. Krishna is therefore known as Hari. Hari means he who takes away. Krishna immediately takes away all unclean habits from anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness. The clouds of Atman are white, for they do not carry any water. Similarly, a retired retired man being freed from all responsibility of family affairs, namely maintaining the home, wife and children, and taking completely to Krishna consciousness, becomes freed from all anxieties and looks as white as clouds in autumn. Sometimes in autumn the falls come down from the top of the hill to supply clean water, and sometimes they stop. Similarly, sometimes great saintly persons distribute knowledge and clear knowledge, and sometimes they are silent. The small ponds which were filled with water because of the rainy season gradually dry up in autumn. As far as the tiny aquatics living in the reservoirs, they cannot understand that their numbers are diminishing day by day. As the materially engrossed person cannot understand that their duration of the life is being reduced by day. Such persons are engaged in maintaining cows, property, children, wife, society, and friendship. Due to the reduced water and scorching heat from the sun in the autumn season, the small creatures living in small reservoirs of water are much disturbed. They are exactly like uncontrolled persons who are always unhappy from being unable to enjoy life or maintain their family members. The muddy earth gradually dries up and newly grown fresh vegetables begin to winter. Similarly, for one who has taken to Krishna consciousness, desire for family enjoyment gradually dries up. Because of the appearance of autumn season, the water of the ocean becomes calm and quiet. Just as a person developed in self-realization is no longer disturbed by the three modes of material nature. In autumn, farmers save the water within the fields by building strong walls so that the water contained within the field cannot run out. There is hardly any hope for new rainfalls. Therefore, they want to save whatever is in the field. Similarly, a person who is actually advanced in Krishna self-realization protects his energy by controlling the senses. It is advised that after the age of 50, one should retire from family life and should conserve the energy of the body for utilization in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Unless one is able to control the senses and engage them in transcendental loving service of Mukunda, there is no possibility of salvation. During the daytime in Ottoman, the sun is very scorching, but at night, due to the clear moonshine, people get relief from the day's fatigue. If a person takes shelter of Mukunda or Krishna, he can be saved from the fatigue of misidentifying the body with the self. Mukunda or Krishna is also the source of uh, solace solace to the damsels of Vrindavana. The damsels of Brajabhumi are always suffering because separation from Krishna. When they meet Krishna during the moonlit autumn night, Their fatigue of separation is also satiated. When the sky is clear of all clouds, the stars at night shine very beautifully. Similarly, when a person is actually situated in Krishna consciousness, he is cleared of all dirty things and he becomes as beautiful as the stars in the Atman sky. Although the Vedas prescribe karma in the form of offering sacrifices, their ultimate purpose is stated in Bhagavad Gita. One has to accept Krishna consciousness after uh, thoroughly understanding the purpose of the Vedas. Therefore, the clean heart exhibited by a devotee in Krishna consciousness can be compared to the clean sky of the autumn season. Um, During autumn, the moon looks very bright along with the stars in the clear sky. Lord Krishna himself appeared in the sky of the Yadu dynasty, and he was exactly like the moon, surrounded by the stars or the members of the Yadu dynasty. When there are ample blooming flowers in the garden, in the forest, the fresh aromatic breeze gives a great relief to the person who has suffered during the summer and rainy seasons. Unfortunately, such breezes could not give any relief to the gopis because of their hearts sorry dedications to Krishna. People in general might have taken pleasure in that nice autumn breeze, but the gopis, not being embarrassed by Krishna, were not very satisfied. On revival of autumn season, all the cows, deer, birds, and females in general become pregnant because in that season generally all the husbands become impelled by sex desire. This is exactly like the transcendentalist whom by the grace of the Supreme Lord are bestowed with the benediction of their destinations in life. Srila Rupa Goswami has instructed in his Upadeshamrita that one should follow devotional service with great enthusiasm, patience, and conviction, and should follow the rules and regulations, keep oneself clean from material contamination, and stay in the association of devotees. By following these principles, one is sure to achieve the desired uh, result of devotion service. For he who patiently follows the regulative principle of devotion service, the time will come when he will achieve the result has the wife who reap results by becoming pregnant. During the autumn, the lotus flowers in the lakes grow in large numbers because of the absence of lilies. Um, Both the lilies and the lotus flowers grow by sunshine, but during the autumn season, the scorching sunshine helps only the lotus. This example is given in the case of the country where the king or the government is strong. The rise of unwanted elements like thieves and robbers cannot prosper. Prosper. When the citizens become confident that they will not be attacked by robbers. They developed very satisfactorily. A strong government is compared to the scorching sunshine in the autumn season. The lilies are compared to the unwanted persons like robbers, and the lotus flower are compared to the satisfied citizens of the government. During autumn, the fields become filled with ripened grains. At that time, the people become happy over the harvest and observe various ceremonies, just as Vamana, sorry, now Navana, the offering of new grains to the Navana, okay. The offering of new grains to Supreme Personality of Godhead. The new grains are first offered to the deities in various temples, and all the invited to take sweet rice made of these new grains. There are other religious ceremonies and methods of worship, particularly in Bengal, where the greatest of all such ceremonies is held called Durga Puja. In Vrindavana, the autumn season was very beautiful then because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna and Balarama. The merchants mercantile community, the royal order, and the great sages were free to move to achieve their desired benedictions. Similarly, the transcendentalists, when freed from the engagement of the material body, also achieved their desired goal. During the rainy season, the mercantile community cannot move from one place to another, and so do not get their desired profit. Nor can the royal order go from one place to another to collect taxes from the people. As for a saintly person who must travel to preach transcendental knowledge, they also are restrained by the rainy season. But during the autumn season, all of them leave their confines. In the case of the transcendentalist, be he be he a gnani or a yogi, or a devotee, because of the material body, he cannot actually enjoy a spiritual achievement. But as soon as he gives up the body or after death, the gnani merges into the spiritual effulgence of the Supreme Lord. The yogi transfers himself to the various higher planets, and the devotee goes to the planet of the Supreme Lord, Golok, Vrindavana, or the Vaikunthas, and thus enjoys his eternal spiritual life. Those ends forward to a chapter of Krishna Ottoman season. Haribol. Thank you so much. Did any offenses because of me? Is faults? Please forgive me, bro. It was very nicely explained, Prabhu. Like all or taking one side Vrindavana, one side Krishna consciousness, like that. It takes matches.
Yes, Prabhu. And
Prabhupada's writes very perfectly. It was very important instructions to follow in Krishna consciousness.
These was a very deeply philosophical, chapter. Otherwise, it was just otherwise they were simple, but this was like very.
yes, Prabhu.
This goes deep into the philosophy.
There is many analogies.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu.
In the beginning, Antariksh Prabhu was reading, and there was two portions where the word sex was mentioned, and his mother was there, and then she threw something at him and made him leave the meeting.
Yes. Also, I am also cautious of it because generally parents in India they are like, "Oh, what are you doing?" If you have that one, so I don't speak with my mothers around. It
Yes,
could get me into trouble.
if a person who is engaged in yoga mystic process is not very advanced in spiritual life, he can become agitated by the sex impulse. And a husband and wife should control sex indulgence and
Yes.
concentrate their minds on Krishna consciousness. So he read this, and his father did understand.
Actually, he's also quite young, so that would also be a problem, right? He's 14 or something like that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. We'll hear from him today what happened.
Was it today, Prabhu?
Oh, Hare Krishna.
Oh yeah, just happened now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Where is the?
I think they should.
It was
Prabhu.
like bottom part of the
Don't you
page.
have
I don't remember which page.
Prabhu?
Yes,
In
Prabhu.
India, don't you have parks where they could go to read?
Yeah, but it's like 9:30 in the evening. Night. So yeah, you should really go to the park now.
Oh, God.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I think this if it's South Africa because it's only approaching 6.
Haribol, dear Prabhus.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
I do not know if it has
Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Haribol Leobang Prabhu. I do not know if it has been said before, but in the discussion I put a link a book was made from this chapter. It's called Light of Bhagavata.
Yes,
And it
Prabhu.
was illustrated by some Asian woman. Prabhupada wanted this to be done. And this is a PDF you can, it
For
is this
Japan.
chapter, but very nicely illustrated, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Yes, that's a nice book. We have read it once.
Take
Yeah,
Prabhu,
sir.
can
10 months
like
ago,
what
we
is that
read it.
book? Which
Light
one?
of
Light
Bhagavad.
of Bhagavata. I am downloading it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for
Probably
Japan.
read it in the night.
There was supposed to be one meeting in Japan when one convention of something, I forgot what it is, but Prabhupada was supposed to go there and he made this whole thing for that, but then it didn't happen for some reason. But the book is still there.
Oh.
Yo, Prabhu, you started the Zoom session early today, yeah?
What is the content, Prabhu, in that book?
No,
Maybe I
let's see.
was not there. Maybe.
It's descriptions of nature in relation with
Early, it's like half an hour later.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Amy Prabhu.
Prabhu, how many books does Srila Prabhupada have written in total, everything?
Oh, there is many books. I don't know any number, but there is many, and some are compilations of conversation and things like that. Prabhupada didn't like really write any books. He spoke them. You know that? Is it there?
Prabhu,
Only have like 20.
What, Prabhu?
I was saying that you start
It's the last 7 days.
with this Prabhu.
Lebanon Prabhupada in here. Can you say again?
I think we should start with the prayers and the offenses and then we watch.
Yes,
Because we're
Prabhu.
going to forget them.
चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं यावदूजीवनम् आनन्दं बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्
नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पिता नियमित स्मरेण चाल एतद्विषयितव कृपा भगवन् नमामि दुर्दैवम् इह जानानुग्रह
Trinadapi sunichena taro api sahesnuna amanina manadena kritanya sadahari.
न जनम न सुंदरम कवितम वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिरेतु की त्वयि
ऐनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मां विषमे भवां बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजास्तिदधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नयनं गलदाशूदराय वदनं गदगदहृदया गिरा पुलकैर्निचिन्तं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravishya itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahe name.
Ashrisyavapadaраtam pinashtumam madachana marmahatam karuto va yata tata va vidatatulam pato matpranadatastu saivana paraha.
Go.
Hare Krishna,
Can
Krishna Krishna.
you see we have 9 people joined today?
Yes, Prabhu. Haribo, that's really nice.
Haribol.
Oh, Shivran Prabhu is here.
Also,
Can you
Antarik
speak,
so
was
Prabhu?
here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Boo.
प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद
Make a video at least so we can see him and make a sharp.
Get translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of repeated which extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is a prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings and thousands of hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in an humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful woman, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
Oh my Lord. Oh, waiting. Okay. Oh my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling our separation, some considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditional.
Haribo,
Jai.
Okay, 10 offense.
The first is
What is
to
first?
blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord.
Haribo,
To
second.
consider names of demigod like Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu to be equal or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu.
Haribo, third offense.
Okay, you can go.
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person. Fourth offense.
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in precedence to the Vedic version. And then it's about the interpretation.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Yes. Sixth offense.
To give some interpretation to the holy name.
Seventh offense.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names.
To consider chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as Karma Kanda.
And then to instruct the faithless persons of the glories of the holy name. It's 9.
Yes. Yeah, to instruct, yeah. 10th offense.
Yeah, that one I don't know.
To maintain material attachments here after learning so many intention on these matters.
But what beginning? What is beginning?
Do not have complete feeling changing of the name and to maintain material attachments even after hearing so many interaction on this matter. It is also an offense to be related to all chanting. Prabhu, I have a suggestion.
Yes, Prabhu.
I was thinking because just today I check all the verses. You know, like we read, Shikshashtaka prayers.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I went through all the verses in Prabhupada books, the original, prabhupadbooks.com, the original 1975 version. The translation here and there are completely different. That is like very different.
Oh, you
so
mean?
I was thinking maybe we could read them.
Do you mean Shikshastakam?
Yes, Shikshashtaka, translation.
So the translation is different.
Yes. I mean, that's like quite a big change. See, I'll read the first one. I mean, the meaning is the same, but this one is written by Prabhupada. So see, I am reading from Prabhu. I've shared the link. Just a second.
Yes, Prabhu, like we'll read in temple that only, Prabhu, which Swami Prabhu shared, that one.
Really?
Yes, Prabhu. We will read that one.
Okay, Prabhu.
No, I am saying
You
that.
mean like our ISKM temple, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, Prabhu. Then no problem.
This one we will read. Like I am saying that we will read this one, but I don't know about you are say you showing that this one. I don't know.
Actually, because I am doing Spotify Seva, so in all the verses we have to upload in description have to be from prabhupatbooks.com because they have the original one. So
Yes,
I was thinking like maybe
yes, Prabhu. Yeah, there might be some different, but I'm not
yeah.
sure.
So you see, I read the first one. Let there be all victory for chanting of the holy name of the Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the vaccine moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Yeah, see.
Yes, Prabhu. I think these are the direct translations of the verses.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Some reason it is why it's.
I
Yeah,
mean, here,
I don't know why it's not directly the verse, but some reason, because also the same thing happens in the offenses, because the direct translation
yeah.
is different than what they read in is
Prabhu,
different.
like you showed na that one taken from the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yes, this one. This is.
Yes, so
Devash Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I'm looking at this picture that you sent it in the Vaishnava Sangha, which has
So
the extra guru.
you can see after Srila Prabhupada, that person. Yeah.
I'm looking at that one.
Not Bhakti Siddhant. One is Bhakti Siddhant Saraswati Thakur, but on the end you can see that person who
Yeah,
is wearing specs and yeah,
and he has a stick.
Okay, I stopped.
yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
That guys are asking.
for joining the reading session. It was really nice. Very
thank
cool.
you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so
Very
much,
good.